Am I the asshole for calling my husband's grandmother a hillbilly? So I'm 23F, my husband is 28M, and his grandmother is 81F. For background, I'm Italian American and the majority of my family is from Italy. Most of my husband's family are Southern born and raised. His grandmother loves to use a certain derogatory word for Italians, starts with D, and it makes me uncomfortable every time. I finally had enough this weekend and the following conversation ensued. Me. With all due respect, that word is really offensive to Italians and I'd appreciate it if you'd stop using it. Her. Well, good thing we have the First Amendment. You being offended doesn't change that. Me. I understand that, but it would be similar to me calling you a hillbilly, which is hurtful. She hates that word being said in her presence and told me I was disrespectful and I clearly never learned manners. My husband's family is saying I should have let it go because she's old. I didn't grow up that way. Old people don't get a pass to be hurtful. Am I the asshole? Ha 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 ha, not the asshole. Old people just like, I want to be horrible and do what I want, but no one be horrible to me, or do what you want. Not the asshole, but you could call her ass out on not understanding that the First Amendment doesn't mean she can be a bigoted fuck with no consequences. Next time, call her a redneck hillbilly snowflake. She expects respect for her shitty actions and to not get called out. Being old doesn't mean you can be a douche. Not the asshole. I mean this from a place of kindness, but where is your husband during this? I'm a Southern-born woman myself, and if my racist gran spoke any nonsense to my husband we'd be out of there. And I grew up close with her. Edit to add this wonderful explanation about being a boat rocker in toxic family dynamics. Don't rock the boat. Am I the only one sitting here whose mind is completely blank and going, what the hell is the D word? Not the asshole. And #X200B. So call her a hillbilly every time she uses that word. Maybe she will learn. But, in her own words, isn't it your First Amendment right to say whatever you want? You were 100% in the right here. Old people don't get passes to be hurtful and rude without expecting that people won't retaliate. Call them out on it. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. This idea that old people should be given a pass on shitty behavior is so backwards to me. Aren't we supposed to grow and mature as we age? Not the asshole. The hillbilly needs to learn that respect is a two-way street. And I am from Appalachia and don't feel hillbilly that is a derogatory term. Am I the asshole for outing my sister to her kids? Her kids were having a sleepover. We've always had this picture of my family up from when we were really young, and this was the first time her kids ever asked about it. She has also seen the picture and never commented on it. They asked who she was in the picture. My sister started transitioning in high school, so I don't really think of her as trans. Like, I know she wasn't always a woman, but old pictures of her are just pictures of her to me. And I sort of assume people know, and it's not a big dark secret. Naturally, I responded honestly. I told them that was their mom. Her daughter said she looked like a boy, and I said she was. I tried to explain that she was a boy, but now she's not, and her son thought it was funny, but it made her daughter really upset. I was surprised she kept it from them. It didn't come up again after that. Her and her husband picked the kids up eventually and neither kid seemed upset about it. Overall, it was a pretty good sleepover. A few hours later, I have her husband on the phone asking what I said and calling me insane. He said my sister is distraught. He was saying I outed her and how cruel that was, but kids are pure. Outing means nothing to them because you can teach them empathy and understanding. There's nothing to be afraid of, being outed to a kid. Still, I did out her, which I apologized for. I eventually got her on the phone and she said she's really upset with me, but she understands I didn't mean to cause any harm. I asked her if she was ever planning to tell her kids and she said she wasn't sure. I was shocked at that. My sister isn't typically a dishonest person. At all. Both kids even know they're adopted. I told her I did her kids a favor, which I believe, and then she said I'm never sorry about anything. I think outing is horrible, but in this situation, was it justified? My husband also agrees it's the kind of lie that would have left her children distrustful of her in the future. Update. Okay, I'm in the wrong. The few people agreeing with me have been majority extremely rude and transphobic to my sister. I'll be apologizing to her. Please understand I did not want to make this a place where transphobes could spout rhetoric. You are the asshole. That conversation was not your place, period. You should have told her to ask her parents about it and moved on. I understand that you didn't intend to cause a problem, but being thoughtless about something can still be being in awe. I'm glad it doesn't seem to be causing a permanent rift between you and your sister, but definitely you are the asshole here. You are the asshole. Big time. That was a conversation for your sister to have with the kids when she was ready. It's not your story to tell. You could have just deferred that situation to your sister. Now it can't be taken back and you robbed her of her ability to do this on her terms. She's the parent and it's not your place to decide what is deceptive or not when it comes to her identity. Yeah, you are the asshole. You say in your post, I told her I did her kids a favor, which I believe, meaning you aren't remorseful after all, even though you claim that outing someone is horrible. Once someone transitions, that identity they are is who they are. It's wrong to reveal information like that. It's not her being dishonest, your sister is a woman. Not a man. Just like you lie to kids about Santa Claus, it's not your place to tell them what's true, and not true. I told her I did her kids a favor. No, you did not. You overstepped, offered an insincere apology, which is obvious since you doubled down on your actions, and made a choice to tell two small children something that wasn't in the realm of decisions for you to make for them. My sister isn't typically a dishonest person. At no point is choosing to not tell her 6- and 8-year-old children that she is transgender while they are still so young dishonest. If she chose to never tell them that she transitioned, it still wouldn't be dishonest. For all intents and purposes, your sister is a woman and no one is entitled to know differently without her expressed consent. You are the asshole. You are the asshole. That was not your place to tell, you never out someone no matter what. Ytaa monumental awe. It's almost like you couldn't wait to do it. As if the truth wasn't rolling fast enough for you. You are the asshole. You're not trans, so not your place to even out her and they aren't your kids. You can't fathom the ramifications of your dumbass decision to out her to their kids. I hate when cis people say it's lying when trans people don't immediately out themselves. You're the disgusting person. If you were my sibling, I'd block you and never let you see me, my husband, or my kids again. The kids say some to other kids at school they get beat up or worst a deranged parent transphobic person at school kills your sister or her kids cause of this. I hope you live with regret and let it eat at you forever. Signed an actual trans person. It's kind of hard to believe that you didn't know your sister hadn't told the kids, or that you thought it wouldn't be a big deal. I don't know, maybe that's a bit harsh, but certainly when the kids started asking about the picture, and seemed confused because mom looked like a boy, that should have clued you in that they didn't know. And you should have known that it wasn't your place to discuss that with them. I agree that they should know at some point, but it's your sister's choice when and how they find out. You are the asshole, because you should have spoken to your sister about this first. Am I the asshole for asking mom to leave after she insulted my kitten? So last year my beloved Eddie cat passed away at the age of 14 after a lengthy illness. I was devastated as I had raised her since she was a newborn kitten and her mama abandoned her. I'm talking about like literally having to sneak her into high school with me to be able to bottle feed her. I've been living alone for a year and it's been kind of lonely, so I've slowly gotten to the point where I felt I was ready to adopt another cat. After reaching out to Maine Rescues I found two brothers who I fell in love with the moment I saw their pictures. I ended up naming them Bucky and Steve after the two main characters from the Captain America movie, comic franchise. The thing about Steve is he was born bob-tailed, which means just like a bobcat he was born without a tail. He has a little nub which kind of resembles a rabbit tail. My mom came over today to meet both my new boys and from the moment she saw Steve the comments just started coming. About how freaky his nub looks and how it's not normal. I was really annoyed, but he's a kitten so it's not like he really understands he's being insulted. What really upset me and led me to kick her out is when Steve climbed into her lap and attempted to curl up in it. Stevie is the more shy of the two kittens, so he often hides or takes longer to become comfortable with unknown people and situations, but he loves to cuddle up in people's laps once he feels safe. He had just settled into her lap and was contentedly purring when she roughly picked him up, and I don't even know how to describe it. She didn't exactly throw him to the other end of the couch, but she didn't simply place him there either. That's when I lost my cool and told her that she was a guest and my home was now Steve's home, and if she couldn't respect him she needed to leave. She scoffed and didn't take it seriously, so I doubled down and was like, I'm 100% serious, leave my house now. She started yelling that she raised me and how disrespectful I was being, all because of a cat. I dunno, I just feel like she was being unnecessarily mean to an innocent animal just because he looked different. Am I the asshole? Edit. I absolutely do not think my mom is an animal abuser or that she abused Stevie when she moved him. What I am upset about, and I realize that I didn't mention this, is the fact that she had no problems with Bucky being all over her and in her lap. It is my opinion that just like with children, you can't favor one over the other. She also taught all of us kids that it was important to stick up for ourselves, and that is what I felt like I was doing. Edit 2. Cat tax. Not the asshole. If she is prejudiced about a cat that looks a bit different, I wonder how she is about people. Manx cats are adorable, by the way. Not the asshole. Pets are part of the family and some people don't understand that. I have 3 cats at home and I thought one has escaped once when my mom was over at my place and started crying a bit because he was my child, and my mother started to make fun of me because it's just a cat and in her eyes can be replaced. I don't plan on having kids, so he is my child, as weird as it may sound. Not the asshole. Animals are family to many people. Gaining trust of one is huge. Hope Steve is okay. Would love cat tax. Of the brothers and Eddie. Not the asshole. She yeeted the kitty off her lap, for being different. So you yeeted her out your home, for being ignorant. Ha ha ha. Every comment that didn't agree with the op got downvoted. There are comments on here saying she must be a racist because she insulted a cat. What? I find that fascinating. Saying that, I'll expect a downvote also. We're talking about a cat, not a toddler, a cat. Your cat's feelings didn't get hurt. Your cat can't understand what your mother said. You admitted that she didn't hurt the cat. You've taken this to the extreme with your mother. There are other issues at play here that have nothing to do with the cat. Prepared for my downvotes, but you are the asshole. By your own admission, Mom didn't throw the cat or hurt him in any way. She didn't want him on her lap and she moved him off, albeit not as loving and gentle as you would have done. Your title doesn't even mention this incident. You were more concerned that she insulted his tail. I love my pets, too, but come on. Not everyone is going to love your pets like you do. Sounds to me like there are other issues at play between you and your mom. Edited to add. Thank you for the awards. In another comment, Op says her mom tried to make one of her children the golden child and she wasn't going to let her do it to the cats. I'm pretty confident this is the real issue at hand, not the cat. Not the asshole. I have a 15-year-old cat and I wouldn't like watching anyone be mean to her. I'd be fine if someone picked her up and set her down, but if it looks rough, I'd be mad. You are the asshole, you overreacted. It's your place, sure, but if she got uncomfortable with the cat, that's new to her, on her lap, then it's not really the worst thing in the world for her to remove it from herself. Handling animals isn't always smooth. Sure, it may have seemed like she could have removed the cat in a better way, but it's an animal she is not used to. Sometimes interactions with animals you're not close with are awkward. It seems like she didn't intend on hurting the animal. It was just a creature she didn't like having on her. That's okay. Am I the asshole for leaving my jewelry on my bedside locker without notifying my niece what it was? I'm 19, female. My sister is nearly 25 years older than me and I have a niece, Katie, who I get along great with. She's 16. She has pica and is particularly drawn to metal. I have over 30 piercings on my ears, face and body. I've often left jewelry on my table or desk or wherever around my room. It's happened on more than one occasion that Katie has ended up with a piece of my body jewelry in her mouth, which I find gross, but most of the time it's just been some stainless steel piece that cost me £2, so it didn't bother me. I got my nipples done for my 18th birthday and this year my boyfriend gifted me a gorgeous BVLA set for them that I put in last night. I left the plain titanium jewelry on my bedside locker, intending to clean them, but kind of forgot and left them there until today. Katie came over and asked if she could grab my charger and I told her it was in my room. She got it and it wasn't until an hour later that I noticed something was in her mouth and asked her where she got it. She looked a little embarrassed but answered with it was on my bedside table, and the urge to chew took over. I casually said, that was in my nipple, and I haven't cleaned that in a long time. And she just lost her shit. Like actually started screaming. She was saying it was my fault leaving it where she could get at it, that I should have cleaned it, that it was gross to leave it out and that I shouldn't have told her because I knew I'd upset her. I casually told her to fuck off away from me and she did, but my sister texted me saying I'm a massive asshole. That I should have said casually, hey, my nipple bar is on the table, don't eat it, etc. I don't really think I'm the asshole here, but my parents are on my niece's and sister's side. Am I the asshole? Not the asshole. What on earth is she chewing on someone else's piercings for? That should only be done with consent, preferably while they're still in. Not the asshole. She's 16 years old, not 16 months. She should be able to exercise a little self-control and resist the urge to put random chunks of metal in her mouth when she has no idea where it's been. Is it normal for your sister and parents to reinforce that kind of behavior in her and make excuses? I feel like the closer she gets to adulthood, the more potential problems will arise if she doesn't get any help learning how to control her urges. Not the asshole. If her urges are that strong, she needs a chew toy of some sort. It's absolutely not your fault. Blaming you is ridiculous. Let me make sure I understand. You left your jewelry on your bedside table, in your home, and someone else came and took it, put it in their mouth, and people think it is your fault? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. She's 16, not 3. Even with the intense cravings, she knows better than to randomly stick other people's things in her mouth. Not the asshole. I have pica, it really sucks. The urge to eat non-food stuff is always there, but I have to deal with it, especially in places where I don't have access to any of that non-food I crave. But just because I understand how awful the urge is doesn't mean it's excusable. You can't just put something in your mouth if it doesn't belong to you and you don't know what it is for any reason. If she can't control herself to the point she'll put anything in her mouth to chew, she needs to look into help and also a chewable necklace. NTA. And seriously, EU on her part. I know those things can be hard to resist, but she's 16. Not 5. Your parents, sisters, whatever are enablers and assholes. Yes, she has a condition, yes it sucks big time. And #X200B. No, you don't have to baby-proof your house because of it. She's 16, not 2. And #X200B. She was saying it was my fault leaving it where she could get at it, that I should have cleaned it, that it was gross to leave it out, and that I shouldn't have told her because I knew I'd upset her. This is more than enough proof that your entire family has hit the "not your fault" button WAAAAAY too often. And #X200B. She should be happy that it's a nipple piercing and not a somewhere further south piercing. It was in your house, in your room, behind a closed door. And #X200B. What's next? Lock the cutlery drawer.